Hey guys, what's going on? I'm gonna skip past all the typical intro stuff and just jump right into this. I'm gonna be honest, I never knew this champion was as good as she actually is. Better yet, I never actually knew she was even good. So a while back, I was looking at some champions who to 6-star next, and Noobs knows I've been focusing on arena quite a bit. He places consistently very high in the arena. He's got like 25,000 Great Hall medals right now. I think he's trying to max out his Great Hall twice, but he told me to take this champion to 60, take her to 6-star. And at the time I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna trust him. But I was like, yeah, she's not really that good. I mean, yeah, she places block debuffs and she cleanses, but what else is she really good for? Because when I was reading her skill kit, it didn't seem like that powerful, but it was one little misunderstanding on the reading on my part that completely changes this champion. So as you can see, we had about a 3-minute match in Platinum Arena. I did win this match, and Skytouched Shaman healed for almost 1,000,000 damage. It is absolutely insane. So let me jump in here, guys, and if you have Skytouched Shaman, or if you pull her soon, obviously you're probably watching this video if you already have her. If you don't have her, maybe you can get some ideas of why she's so good, maybe what to bring against her to kind of counter her, or whatever it may be, and why you should actually focus her down in the arena, because she's actually incredible. And I had done a video in the past, we were talking about some frenzy gear. I think I may have mentioned some frenzy gear on her. I know Ash did a video with her in frenzy gear. She works great in frenzy gear. However, the gear I'm going to be wearing and the strategy that I'm using her with is very, very different. So what I want to go over is her skill kit. So the first ability, this is not really what we're focused on, honestly. So we can read this: attacks all enemies, heals about 15% of the damage inflicted if she has less than 50% HP, and it boosts her turn meter by 20% if she has more than 50% HP. So if she has less, she heals a little bit, not very much at all. If she has more than 50% HP, then she boosts turn meter a little bit. Let me get this black bar off the bottom of my screen real quick, guys. Sorry about that. So that's her A1 ability. Nothing like spectacular there. Maybe if you geared her up crit rate, crit damage, she could hit hard. I don't know. Don't do that. That's disgusting. All right, so A2 removes all debuffs from all allies, then places a revive on death and block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is incredible. This is so good in the arena, especially when you have so many champions who place some nasty debuffs. However, obviously, when you go against champions like Madame, any debuff stripper, or buff stripper, better yet, they're just going to remove that. But so this ability is amazing in and of itself, especially the fact that it works as like another res champion on your team, because if she places this and the enemy goes and they end up killing her, she's just going to revive. So it's an excellent ability. But what I want to focus on is this ability right here, and this is what tricked me up. Okay, so let me explain to you what I thought it meant, and then we'll get into what it actually means. Damages this champion by 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. Okay, so she has 100,000 HP. 10% of that is 10,000 HP, right? Okay, so my math is pretty good here. Heals all allies except this champion equal to half the lost HP. So my thought this whole time was, okay, so if she has 100,000 HP, she takes a 10% cut from her HP, then that means that she's losing 10,000 HP. So then if it heals all allies except this champion equal to half of the lost HP, that would mean that the lost HP was 10,000. So half of that would be 5,000, right? So a 5,000 point AoE heal if this champion had 100,000 HP. So I was like, okay, that doesn't sound that good. And then places a 30% decreased speed debuff on this champion at the start of each turn, and a 50% chance, and also has a 50% chance of placing a fear debuff on this champion. We're not going to pay too much attention to that right now. The biggest thing is this heal, okay? So for the longest time, I thought this heal was very underwhelming. I didn't really understand why people thought she was a good healer. I never really understood why it was working. And to be honest, I got a feeling that I'm not the only person who thought that. I imagine there's probably other people, so I want to be here to make this clear that that is not how she works. She's actually insane. So what this actually does is she heals based on half the damage of her total lost HP. So what that means is if you have 100,000 HP and you've lost 50,000 HP, she's going to heal everybody for 25,000 HP points, which is actually insane. This is on a passive every single turn. It doesn't matter if she's stunned, slept, beard, whatever it is, as long as she's alive and has more than 10% HP, because this does reduce her HP before it heals. So as long as she's alive and has more than 10% HP, she's going to be making some massive heals for your team. So I'm going to get into what her gear is. Her aura is just a 25% HP in all battles. Very good for like dungeons and in general. If you're going to run her in dungeons, I would definitely recommend bringing somebody who can help keep her alive though. Maybe like an apothecary, because she doesn't heal herself. She heals everybody else, but she's a little bit difficult to keep alive if you don't have a good support champion. So make sure like another support to run alongside her. Obviously, she'll keep that support champion alive very, very well, but somebody like Apothecary beside her, somebody like a Steel Skull could do very good pairing with Skytouched through regular game content, unlike other than the arena. My examples are going to be in the arena today. This is her Masteries. Don't necessarily run these Masteries. I'm going to give you a breakdown of like my thought process behind these Masteries. Basically, what I'm wanting to do is not take a ton of damage. Obviously, she works better when she's lost more HP, but I don't want her to die. She does worse if she's dead than if she's alive, obviously. Now, mine specifically is in a shield set. So I have these shield Masteries taken. I also want increased shields, increased heals on champions who have less than 40% HP. And then I have this one, whenever her block debuffs, whenever her revival and death expire, 30% chance of increase in turn meter by 10%. So it's just a nice thing to have. And then I have this, which, like I said, it's mostly for the arena. If you're not building for arena, maybe go something over here. Lore of Steel, very good. Doesn't really do anything for me, though. I have this, that hopefully, if I have 2 other allies dead, she'll speed up, heal my big revive champion, and then they'll be able to bring back my rest of my team. And then I have this ability down here. This is mostly so if everybody's taking a lot of damage, she can go ahead and cut in, because she's actually a little bit slower than my damage dealer. So then she's going to cut in, because Skull Crown has unkillable. So she's most of the time going to be very, very low HP. That's who my nuke champion is for the arena. So idea is that Skytouched cuts in and then cleanses all the debuffs in case Skull Crown was stunned, slept, freeze, whatever it may be. She cleanses everything and then puts Revival on Death. Skull Crown takes her turn. Her unkillable buff falls off. And then if she gets hit again, then she's fine. She just comes back to life because of the Revival and Death. Now over here, I have this, obviously, big arena mastery. Typically, if you're running a champion in arena, this is a great ability to have. I also have this ability because as we could see on her ability 1, it has a chance of boosting her turn meter if she has 50% HP or more. I'm not really worried about the other condition, if she's 50% HP or less, because that heal is pretty negligible. But the second one is very good. I mean, who doesn't like turn meter boosts? So I love that. This damage reduction, excellent. I run a fairly high resistance team, so allowing her to add a little bit more resistance to my team is excellent. It increases only by 5 for each buff placed, but 5 extra resistance is excellent. I mean, I'm stacking up the block debuffs anyways on my team, so the only one that's actually working is the Revival and Death. But hey, an extra 5 resistance could be the difference between the debuff landing and it not landing. And then most notably probably that I do like here is Resurgent. 50% chance to remove 1 random debuff from this champion when they lose 25% of their HP or more from a single enemy skill. So this, especially for the arena. This is a very arena-centered build, in my opinion. An arena-centered build also with wearing a shield set. This works out amazing. This is very good because of those times if you get like a stun placed on you, you took a lot of hits, that has a chance of falling off. So I do really like that. Now, why is she in a shield set? I think this shield set is incredible on her. She's, as you can tell from her ability 3, she's very HP based. So HP is a very, very important stat for you to stack up on her because she's healing half of the amount she's lost. So if she only had an HP pool of 50,000 HP, she doesn't have as much HP to actually work with. Whereas if you stack her with a lot of HP, she has more HP to work with. Well, if you're stacking a champion with a lot of HP, you know what a good set to bring with them is? A shield set. So the shield set is going to give all allies a shield for 30% of her HP. Now, a lot of people do run her with immunity gear. The only issue with immunity gear, for me, is I don't have high enough resistance for that to make sense. Because the immunity gear, while it is amazing, and it does prevent debuffs from being placed on you, it does not prevent itself from being removed. Because all it is a block debuffs buff. So a Madame could easily strip that. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm having my Skytouched run all of my HP. She's putting a big shield on my team, helping my team survive. And then I have a very high resistance champion who's also my res champion, which is Duchess. So whenever she gets that shield from Skytouched, she has a resistance of 573, which is even higher than that when Siphi is the leader. So she has a high resistance, so a very low chance for that shield to be removed. Now, a 30% shield off of 78,000 HP, what is that, like 25,000 or so? Let's see, 78,000. So we got like a 23,000 HP shield. Very, very nice. Puts my Duchess up to like 70, 80,000 HP. Very solid. She's not even fully geared. Now, I did a video a few days ago on my arena team, and obviously I've made a little bit of changes since then. Constantly trying to adapt and change the team. I was using Hawkhorn. He's still an amazing champion. I'm going to be using him in a different area, but I do think Skytouched fills this role better. I mean, she has a heal, which is incredible. She has the A2, which is so good. And then she just has utility all around. And her heals are actually better than Hawkhorn. Not going to lie, I didn't believe it when I first heard it. But let's go ahead and jump in the arena, guys, and let me show you what she does, okay? So now, try to ignore some of these champions. I mean, I do have a Siphi and a Duchess. Obviously, most people don't. If you're, depending on where you're at in the game, you may or may not have these champs, but this is a higher resistance team. I'm just testing this defense out right now. It may or may not be what I use tomorrow, which is Sunday, during my plat push. Now I'm gonna turn this on fully auto. This is gonna kind of simulate as close as I can to what an actual defensive push would look like for me. So, obviously you can't really see a live time battle of your defense and how it stands up to other people. The closest way is just turning a battle on auto. It's not exactly the same, obviously, because the enemy's AI is not as smart as an actual player, doesn't prioritize things the same way. Obviously, this is not a good example. Let's try to do something where it's gonna get a little bit more damage taken. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Let's go find somebody who, Falany. Maybe Falany, maybe they're watching this video. Let's see, so we got that. My Duchess, obviously with the high resistance, she did not get anything placed on her. Very, very good. So even if the entire team gets wiped out with this Trunda, that's perfectly fine because Duchess is here. She has that big shield on her, makes the Trunda less impactful. Now watch this heal that comes from Skytouched, okay? So she has block cooldowns on her right now. I'll turn it on auto. Skytouched, like I said, watch it. You see everybody is full HP now. I didn't see how big the heal was, but I know it had to have been huge. Everybody's literally full HP now. I'm gonna turn it back on auto. So it kind of simulates like a defense, like I said. But the biggest thing we want to see here is the crazy heals from Skytouched. Even with block cooldowns, it doesn't matter. She can be CC'd any way whatsoever. Stun, freeze, like I said, it doesn't matter. As long as she's alive with more than 10% HP, she's gonna heal your team fully, basically. Here, another heal. That's it looks like a 34,000 HP heal. Now that heal doesn't crit. Don't get greedy. The heal doesn't crit. All right, we don't need no 60,000 HP heals. A little overkill anyways. But as you can see, if it wasn't because of Skytouch there, we literally would not have been able to beat this team. 34,000 HP heals. She puts up the block revive on everybody. So if this Siphi decides to go crazy, somehow just start nuking down the team, which I've heard Siphi's overpowered, so maybe she does, then we're good to go. We'll come back to life right after she kills us. But I got a feeling that's not going to happen. So I'll go ahead and turn this off as slow-mo. I was trying to see the actual heals. Look at this, 403,000 damage. And this Trunda I know is geared, okay? So this person's not a low-level player. Like, they don't have basic gear on their champions. Their champions are geared to kill, okay? They're geared very good. And even Trunda's even strong affinity against Duchess. But Skytouched made, as long as she got a turn, she made sure the team stayed alive. That passive ability is just incredible. So as you can see from that match alone, Skytouched Shaman is an incredible healer for the arena, all right? So if you're, wherever you are in the game, if you can make sense of Skytouched, if you can throw her in a shield set, that's awesome. A lot of people run her with immunity, that's great, but just keep in mind, unless you're running pretty high resistance, Madame Saris's are probably gonna strip it anyways. Now, obviously, Madame's not the only champion you need to worry about, but just keep in mind, it may be worth going a different route than focusing on building her up with high immunity, high HP, and then try to get all the stats you need. I really like this shield set. I think it's great for her. She's a fantastic champion. That's all I got to say, to be honest. And I was sadly mistaken, but I'm definitely glad I've learned about it now. And thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to click one of the videos about to pop up. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully it gives you a little bit more insight into Skytouched, and I'll catch you in the next video.